Hi class, this is course 2, lesson 72, implied ratios. So implied ratios are ratios that are not specifically told to you that they are ratios. You can imply them from the context, or you can use ratios to help you solve the scenario. Okay, so in the past we've talked about how you can use ratio tables to organize your data, and this is another example where you're going to do this. So the scenario here is we have 12 books that weigh 40 pounds. How much would 30 books weigh? So we can set up a table that has books and pounds and at the top we're just going to call this a case 1 and case 2. It just means that we have one situation and then we're going to look at another one. So we're going to fill in the information. We know that 12 books weighs 40 pounds. So how much would 30 books weigh? So we have 30 books and we need to solve for pounds. We have a proportion and we will solve using one of the strategies that we know. In this case, because I cannot multiply something directly times 12 to get 30 or times 12 to get 40, I'm going to use cross products. So I'm going to take 30 times 40 and I will get 1200, and that has to equal the other product, which is 12x. So I would divide both of these by 12 and I would get 100 equals x. So 30 books weighs 100 pounds. You can also divide this to figure out how many pounds per book. Okay, so be careful that you do that in the correct way. You cannot divide the number of books by pounds to get pounds per, you need to get pounds per book. Okay, so you would need to divide the pounds by the number of books. You can't divide books by pounds to get books per 1 pound. Okay, that's not what we want. So make sure that when you're dividing, if that's the route you go, that you get what you need to multiply the next one. If you divide 12 by 40 and then multiply it by 30, you may be right, you may be wrong. Okay, so just be very careful. A ratio table is a nice way to organize your information. Okay, here are 2 additional problems for you. If you feel like you'd like to try them on your own, go ahead and do so. I will warn you that this one has a little catch to it. Sally can tie 25 bows in 3 minutes. At this rate, how many bows can she tie in an hour? So here is one that you could find a unit rate by dividing 25 by 3. But if it doesn't come out to be an exact number, that's where we can run into some problems. We will be off on a technicality, right? Our rounding will be off. So make sure that you work through these to be as precise as possible. So we're going to put bows in one row and minutes in the other row. And we're going to have case 1 and case 2. Okay. Now, we know it's 25 bows in 3 minutes. And how many can she tie in an hour? So if you put 1 here because that's 1 hour, you're going to be wrong. This is minutes, this is hours. So we need to convert that to be 60 minutes. So this should be 60. Okay, so be careful. That's an error, a place where you can make an error. So here is your proportion. 25 over 3 equals x over 60. Now here's one that I can look at this really quickly and say, well, I just multiply this times 20. So we're going to multiply 25 times 20. And 25 times 2 is 50. So it would be 500 bows. Now, does that seem reasonable? Every 3 minutes, she can make 25 bows. So in 60 minutes or an hour, there are 20 times that we will make 25 bows. So I know that I would need to double it and then multiply it by 10. So that seems right. It's a rough guess. Okay? Now, this last one, this analogy, these are pretty neat because you'll see these a lot, especially on Iowa assessment or map tests or any standardized test. They will give you these number puzzles. 6 is to 15 as 9 is to what number? That is just asking you to do this. 6 is to 15 as 9 is to what number? They're asking you to find the ratio where these are equal. So, again, here I am going to use cross products. Now you might choose to reduce this fraction first. That might make it easier for you. I'm just going to go and multiply 15 times 9. 45, 135, and then I would divide that by 6. So 135 divided by 6 . 1215. I hope I didn't do something wrong. We'll find out. 6 goes into 15 2 times. That would be 12, and I would subtract and get, I'm going to add a decimal here, 22 and a half. Okay, now that's saying 6 is to 15 as 9 is to 22 and a half. Okay, now let's take a look at this. 6 times 2 would be 12. So this number over here has to be a little more than twice as much. Okay, so is 9 times 2 is 18, so this is a little more than twice that. So I think that we're okay. Alright, so that's how that works. 6 is to 15 as 9 is to what number? Those become ratios, which then form your proportion. Okay, that's all I have for you today. That is lesson 72. I will see you in class.